Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We got issues with the old Peterbilt semi here, so today we're gonna get to work on him and get her back on the road. All right, that is a stud that came out of that hole there. Is where the stud was. There's kind of in relation to the axle housing. And then on this side, that's where the stud is there, right below a splicer. And then there's also one up there that's staying in, I think. So that's where the studs are. So what was going on was the front of the rear axle was locked up, wasn't moving. If you put the power divider on, the rear wheels would try to turn, but the fronts weren't doing anything. So first thing I did was pulled the axle shafts out that spline up into the differential on both sides. I got them over here on the bench. And the splines were like completely stripped out. There's the ends of the shaft. They're like that on both sides. So I shined my light in there and looked into the differential. And that was what I saw. The spider gear inside there completely shelled out, so I went to work on pulling this heavy SOB out of there. So now we're just looking right at that axle housing full of metal from that spider gear when it completely blew out. And removing it wasn't too bad. There's a couple studs on there, one on each side, a couple of them threaded off. There's the shaft for the power divider to drive the rear axle. And I mean, all there literally was to it was just pulling the two axle shafts, removing the drive line from the transmission, getting that off to the side and out of the way. And then there was one air line that goes to that third member for engaging that axle, or that shaft there to drive the back one. So it wasn't too bad. The hardest part was just getting this thing down and out. It was really heavy. I rigged up this transmission jack that just goes onto a floor jack and built these little brackets to keep it from turning on me, and then wrapped that chain around the top to keep it from tipping. And I slid it back off the studs, got it kind of about here to where my feet are, got it off the jack, and then hooked a chain around, just choked it around the yoke there, and then lifted it out through the top. So going back in will be a little more difficult. I have to kind of come up with a better plan there. Maybe make some longer dowels to thread in so I can drop it down and just get them slid on right away. I'll probably jack up the back end so I can rotate them to get that shaft to spline back up, and I'll get this all cleaned out. But now I'm just gonna run into town and hopefully get the parts I need. Well, we're back, and I didn't get a chance to video it, but we got the new third member installed. And it was kind of a bear. The hardest part is getting the shaft splined up with the third member to slide them on. But we just had the back end jacked up, and then I had my buddy rotate the tires while I kept pressure on it. And then we just pushed her in, and it meshed up and it slid in there. And then ran the bolts in all the way around it. I ended up purchasing this jack here to get it. We had it balanced, and then you can remove this handle too. So you got this short little handle and this big flat surface. I don't know, they call it a triple lift jack. Should worked well for this, and I think it'll work for transmissions. I gotta do a rear main seal on a pickup again. Not the one I've already done. This is on a different pickup. But yeah, just had that third member balanced on that. I was down there and we jacked it up, slid it in, got it on the two studs in there, rotated the rear axle so it splined up and slid it on. I used this Loctite here. You just put it in a caulk gun and squeeze it out on there like toothpaste. And I smeared it around with my finger. And yeah, got them on there. So I got to put the new yoke on. And now I'm going to work on getting the two axles back put in. Got two new gaskets hanging there. Something I didn't know that I learned, I guess, doing this project is that there's right and left axles, and they're shorter than each other. I'm not used to trucks. I haven't done much work on over-the-road semis like this, so learned that. So that was something new, but yeah, just gotta get the axles in, get that yoke and a nut put on and Loctited, get that drive shaft put back up, fill it up with oil, and we'll be ready for a test drive. Now we got both the axles in. I just use this number 2 Permatex to seal up those gaskets. And then there's this side. I'll put back together. Got my 5-gallon bucket of 80/90 to fill the diff back up. I just put this back on, the yoke. Had to get a new one of those. I just hit it with my 1/2-inch Milwaukee Impact with a 3/4 adapter socket. Made sure my battery had a full charge, and I used 243 Loctite on the nut there. I'm just putting this fitting back on now into those threads there. And then this line, air line right there, will go to this. That's for your power divider. For this threaded end, I'm just gonna use some Loctite pipe dope here. And then we're getting close, getting real close. Got the drain plug back in. I'm just gonna pull the fill plug out on the back. Fill her full of 80/90. Then put our drive shaft back on there after it's full, and we should be done. I just got this little 5-gallon pail pump here to put the 80/90 in. I'm putting 80/90 in it just because this truck doesn't get a whole ton of miles put on it. You know, it's not like this is an over-the-road rig that's going, 500 miles one way every time it gets started up. It's just hauling grain for the most part. If you are an over-the-road trucker, I would recommend doing that 75/90 weight synthetic. That holds up a little better than the 80/90 if you're putting that many miles on. That's the only advice I have, I guess, on that. And then just if you are pulling one of these off, make sure you do pull off all these fittings, whatever it has, to put on your new one. You know, don't leave them on the old one and turn it in and forget. And then you'll get your new one and it won't have everything, and then you'll have to go and find these and buy them. And I'm just speaking from experience because I've done that on a pickup before. So yeah, we'll just get this, get the diff full, get this on, get our drive shaft put back on, and the old Pete's gonna be ready to go again. Because hopefully we don't have any leaks anywhere. I got her all back together. Just fired the truck up, letting it air up now. Okay. Back her out of here. You guys are seeing this with me for the first time. I don't hear any grinding. So that's a good sign. Hopefully no leaks, but this will probably be the last you guys will see of this project. I got a little buttoning up to do still, but make sure nothing's leaking. But we are mobile again. Just gotta pull the truck up here for now. And we gotta bring another one in. We got an alternator that went out. Fun never ends. I just will add one last little piece though. That yoke on there, to put that on. I just wanna tell you exactly how I did it. I put a little hydraulic oil around the machine surface of that where it seals, where the seal contacts. I put a little just clean hydraulic oil around that, and then had to drive it on with a dead blow hammer after I made sure I had it on the splines nice. And it went back together real good. Really not too bad of a project, so cool deal. Well, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Just took the Pete around the section, listening for any noises, checking for any leaks. Everything seems good, so we're gonna call them roadworthy, hopefully. Yeah, if you made it to the end, hey, thanks for watching. Maybe consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.